Whenever I go live, people always want me to talk more about myself and how I got started doing this. If you are one of the people who enjoys that sort of thing, you may be pleased to know that I was recently interviewed on the Gatriarchs podcast. Co-hosts David Vaughn and Gavin Lodge talk about all sorts of different topics on their podcast, but it's mostly focused on their experience as parents, specifically their experience as gay dads. When I spoke with them recently, we talked about all kinds of stuff. My geolocation videos, internet safety tips for parents and their kids. We also talked about the time that actor Thomas Lennon asked me to find him in Vancouver, which I ended up doing for an April Fool's Day video. I sometimes do what I call lightning round videos, where it's like, if I find it very, very quickly, I just boom, reveal a location. It probably would have been something like that because it was so obvious where it was. So instead, I did it for an April Fool's Day video, and I really played it up, acted like it was really hard to find. Said a bunch of
followed all the wrong
things.
clues.
Right.
Followed all the wrong clues. Yeah.
And that drove some people absolutely insane. They're like, "Oh my God, it's so obvious." And some people who didn't watch all the way through, really thought I didn't find it or I was, struggling or something. But I mean, obviously it was a joke. We also talked about Tom Lennon's reaction to that video. So go listen to the podcast if you want to hear more about that. During our conversation, I also relayed the story of how I forever lost my children's trust by not being 100% transparent about what I was serving for dinner. My youngest came into the room and said, "What are you making for dinner?" And I said, and I looked at what I was making, and I know all kids like, chicken nuggets. Uh-huh. And so I looked at what I was making, and I was like, "I'm making crispy nuggets." I didn't say they were chicken. I just
Your
said
Honor.
That's right. I never said it was chicken, Your Honor. So I said, "Yeah, I'm making crispy nuggets." And then my kid says, Oh, good. I like nuggets. Mom thought it was fish. And then leaves the room. And so I'm like, okay, just crossing my fingers. If you want to hear what my children thought about those crispy nuggets, you're going to have to go listen to the podcast. Anyway, it was a fun conversation, and I think you guys would like it. David and Gavin are not afraid to pull any punches on their podcast, so they talk about some of the more challenging aspects of parenting and some of the really gross parts, and they will cover topics that are sometimes not safe for work. So don't say I didn't warn you. Having said that, I feel like my conversation with them was fairly tame. The Gatriarchs podcast is available on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can find a link at the Jose Monkey Place. Hey, we actually talked about you on the podcast, Chad.
You did?
Yep. As it turns out, David has kind of a crush on you.
Wait, really? Hold up. They know I'm not gay though, right?
Yeah, everybody knows that, Chad.
Okay, well, that's cool. That's cool.